Hey y'all, it's Poseidon. In this video, we're going to be doing an update on everything that's happened in the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro competition. So we're going to be talking over all the people that have qualified for Final Kombat through the region. Everyone that is qualifying through a region has qualified already to this point. We had the 6 people who qualified a few weeks ago. I already talked about that in the video. I'll go briefly over that who qualified in those regions. We had the 4 people who qualified through the Liga Latina regions that happened over the last week or so. We'll talk over those. I don't want to spoil anything as you go over the individual brackets. But before we get into that, there's a few pieces of news, both about the Pro Comp and just about Mortal Kombat in general, that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll go and get into that. We'll talk about, as well as we'll talk about Combo Breaker that happened, Brussels that happened. Those are the 2 most recent offline Pro Comp events that happened that I have not had a chance to talk about. We'll also talk over a brief overview of the points, where people stand and what the future events that are coming up mean. And then we have CEO that's coming up next weekend. We'll talk about the attendees and what that could mean for the Pro Comp for the finale, as well as we have 3 more events coming up after that, and we can talk about that a little bit as well. But Final Kombat is going to be in Mexico City on September 28th through the 30th. I'm assuming that the 28th is going to be last chance qualifier, the 29th is going to be pools, and then the 30th is probably going to be the top 8 or whatever the second round is. They haven't fully announced how with the structure of that, but I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat similar to how it was last year. Another big piece of news is that it is going to be streamed on HBO Max. That is going to be really cool. I don't know if I'm assuming it's going to be just the top 8. I don't know if it's going to be both Saturday and Sunday. I really doubt it's going to be last chance qualifier, but so I'm assuming it's just that Sunday is going to be streamed on HBO Max, the top 8. So that is super cool. It's going to be huge for the Mortal Kombat community. And also another big piece of news for the Mortal Kombat community is that we're getting a legacy collection of games that is going re-release. So they're re-releasing the original Mortal Kombat all the way through Mortal Kombat 4. It's going to be come in one bundle, and we're getting rollback netcode for all those. So you're going to be able to play those games with the up-to-date best online quality that basically exists out there. Hopefully NRS, does a good job with that. They've had problems with their netcode in the past. But it's going to have rollback, so you'll be able to play high-quality online matches of Mortal Kombat, the original, through Mortal Kombat 4. That is super cool. I'm sure on Qualifier TV we're going to run tournaments for those games, at least UMK3 and Mortal Kombat 4. Those were the original games that me and Skash played, the 2 owners of Qualifier TV. We played those games so much when we were younger, and it's kind of what propelled our love for Mortal Kombat and what kind of started Qualifier TV in general. So I'm sure we'll run at least a couple events for those, but we'll see how it goes and stuff like that. But that is super exciting news that's just about Mortal Kombat in general. Let's go and talk over the pro competition, stuff like that. Before we get into the regional qualifiers, we are basically getting down to the wire. We have 4 more events coming up. We have CEO coming up next weekend, July 28th through the 30th. We have Blink Respawn. We have EVO, which is August 1st through the 3rd. And then we have Versus Fighting, which is going to be August 15th to the 17th, and that is it. We only have 1 more Demigod event left. Those are the ones where you get the most amount of points from. The combatants events, you still get points, but you don't get as many, and that's going to be CEO, Blink Respawn, and Versus Fighting. So those are going to be crucial to getting those last-second points. And just going over a little bit of an overview of how it kind of works, you basically get your 2 highest points totals from Demigod events and your 2 highest point totals from combatant events. So people like Gurr or Javier, who have been to a decent amount of events already, their points aren't going to fluctuate as much as someone like Dialock, for example, who's only been to Texas Showdown and Combo Breaker. So he still however he does at these events, will go fully into the amount of points he currently has compared to, like I said, Gurr or Javier, where their point totals will only go up if they outplace their previous events through the combatant or the Demigod events. If that makes sense. It's a little confusing, but I'll try to clear it up a little bit as we go along. Also, so so the way it works is, there's 10 people that qualify through regions. Right now, there's 6 people qualified before we got into this video. By the last previous video I talked about, Big Boy won Oceanic region, Tekken Master won the Middle East region, Connie Mani won EU East, Honest Bananas won EU West, Tweety won NA East, and Online Kale won NA West. So this 6 people are already qualified for Final Combat and will be going unless something happens and they cannot make it that weekend for some particular reason. However, if one of them were to win Evo, let's say Tweety, for example, wins Evo, then Ninja Killer, who got second in NA East, he will qualify for Final Combat. So the way it goes is if you win Evo, that takes priority. So if you qualify through your region, you're going to get the Evo spot. Whoever got second in your region will qualify for Final Combat. And then it goes by points. So whoever has the most points will then qualify. So let's say, for example, Kanimani is currently second in points, but because he qualified through NA East, the person who is 9th in points will qualify for Final Combat. And then the last spot goes to whoever wins Last Chance Qualifier. So if you win Last Chance Qualifier, you're in Final Combat, but that'll be happening like the Friday before Final Combat. So we'll basically know that the 19 people that are in Final Combat, and then there'll just be one more spot left available to anyone that's able to make it there and try to qualify by winning that tournament. So I hope that makes sense. So let's say, I said Kanimani is second in points, but because he won through NA East, it'll go to 9th. And then I kind of like that because last season, the way they did it, the reverse. So it's like if you qualify through points, then whoever got second in your region will qualify. And that happened in a few regions for the Liga Latina Sur region because Scorpion Prox and Nicolas, who came in first and second, ended up qualifying through points. Then Chocolate, who ended up getting 4th in the regional finale, ended up making Final Combat. That's why we saw Chocolate there, because it says Scorpion Prox and Nicolas got 1st and 2nd, and then Shigemaru, who got 3rd, wasn't able to make it, so then Chocolate got it. And it's like, although that is cool, and I think that's awesome to allow people who may be in regions that aren't able to make as many events are able to qualify for Final Combat, it kind of is bad for someone who put in a ton of work, someone like King Gambler, who put in an absolute ton of work, went to all the events he could, and came one place shy of going to Final Combat. It would have been cool to see him make it in, and that's why they're doing it this year, so that is really cool to see. So we'll be talking over more of that stuff. But let's go and get into the regional qualifying events for Final Combat. I said we already talked about the 6 people that qualified. Through Brazil, the winner of the Brazil region was actually Zeus. Zeus won the Brazil region last year as well, so he's the back-to-back Brazil champion and will be at Final Combat yet again. I'm going to go over this bracket here. His run was against DC Vogue. Ended up beating him 3-0. Faces Sangue Frio, who had a pretty decent run at the Brazil offline, the Demigod event that happened in Brazil at Gamescom. That ended up he ended up getting 17th, which is still super good. And then he beats Conqueror in winners finals, and then Conqueror again in grand finals. Shout out to Conqueror for going and getting 2nd place. Someone who has been sticking to Kenshi, who's received some pretty hefty nerfs that have kind of had a lot of people abandon the character. Conqueror is still able to make him work. Conqueror beating Matsuine, who was the guy who's famous for beating Sonic Fox at the GamesCon and get 5th place at GamesCon. Super good. It beats Lavender Rain in Takeda versus Kenshi, which is really, really difficult matchup from what I hear from Kenshi players. So very good for him. I think if we were to look at it from the outside, before this started, Lavender Rain would have probably been the favorite to win. If I were to have done predictions, I probably would have chose Lavender Rain to win just because of how good they did at the Brazilian Pro Comp. And like someone like Ytex who literally won Gamescom wasn't even in the top 8 here. I don't even know. I think he might. I think what they said, he did play in the qualifiers. He just didn't qualify. That's how stacked Brazil is. Very, very good region. But yeah, Lavender Rain goes and gets 3rd place. 4th place was Matsuine. He lost to Conquer round 1 and then beat Guy for Cute and Sangue Frio to get 4th place, losing the Lavender Rain game 5. 5th place was Murillo, very, very good General Shao player from Brazil, and Sangue Frio. And then 7th place, both pillars 102 is DC Vogue and Guy for Cute, the Sub-Zero player, who was famous for winning a Brazilian, really, really stacked Brazil offline tournament a couple months ago. One of the best Sub-Zero players in the world. So that is Brazil. Zeus will be qualifying for Final Combat through the Brazil region. Okay, so we're going to go over and talk about Mexico. And for Mexico, my boy Shuletta ended up winning that and sort of going to Final Combat, which is going to be happening in Mexico City. So he's going to get that home field advantage. honestly, if I had to do predictions, even from the get-go, I would have said Chuleta would have won Mexico. I thought he was going to, when he was reaching out trying to get a sponsorship, I was like, hey, someone needs to sponsor this man. Like, he's probably going to be going to Final Kombat through Mexico. Super good player. He's going to show up. He shows up to the Mexico Pro Comp, the first Pro Comp event, and goes and gets 5th place. Almost beats Javier to go on an insane run, but still made top 8 at his first offline event. And then wins the first Mexico Pro Comp online qualifier, and then goes and wins this. I mean, the only reason that he didn't last year is because he was too young to participate. I thought like even last year, I think he is the best player from Mexico. And like last year when he was like, yeah, like they said I couldn't play because I was too young, I was literally going through the rules and I was like, hey, it says like you can play if you get parent permission, but it's like it's also based off region. So if the region just decides, hey, it doesn't matter what your parents say, we are not going to allow you because you're too young, then they can run with that. So unfortunately, Chuleta wasn't able to participate last year, but this year qualifies basically in straight sets, loses one game to Osvaldo Diaz. I think it was Osvaldo Diaz was on Cyrax, but then goes and beats Adriano. Adriano 3-0, beats Yakuza 9 3-0, and then grand finals 3-0. Again, that Havoc is just running rampant. Absolutely ridiculous. This guy is absolutely insane at Mortal Kombat. I really, really look forward to watching him play at Final Kombat. We had Yakuza Knight going at 2nd place. Osvaldo Diaz get 3rd place. Adriano got 4th. We have Illuminati and Kompa. Shout out to Kompa. Shout out to the Batman player Kompa. Yeah. He got 5th place. And then Cubby and Mickey. I'm Mickey. Ended up getting 7th place, respectively. So that was the top 8 for the Mexico Pro Comp event. Chuleta is going to be going to Final Kombat and is the 8th person to qualify for Final Kombat. Shout out to him. And this tournament actually happened offline. This was the only regional qualifier to happen offline, probably because they were doing it. I'm not sure if they hosted it at the venue they're doing Final Kombat or what, but this was also in Mexico City. Shout out to Chuleta. Absolutely insanely awesome performance. So for Liga Latina Norte, we have another back-to-back champion. Brosiv was able to qualify for Final Kombat, and he beat Zomer and Grand Finals. I'm sorry if there was like a commercial line in the background. I don't have headphones on. I'm actually using Liquipedia. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description because they have all the events here, all the Pro Comp events, all offline tournament results, stuff like that, tournaments that are coming up. It's a very, very good resource. They even had a tournament from like Australia. So if you ever want to know what big tournaments have either happened or are coming up, this is a very good resource, and it shows you the results and stuff like that. Very, very good. I'll leave a link in the description. Check it out if you're looking to look into that. But so yeah, Brosiv ends up making it back-to-back years qualify. So Liga Latina Norte, he's going to be going to Mexico City to qualify to play in Final Kombat. Really, really cool stuff. I look forward to seeing what he can do. And said he beat Zomer in Grand Finals. It looks like Zomer got the reset, but Brosiv was able to beat him in the reset. 3rd place was Alvarez. Actually, someone I've not heard of before with 3rd place. Congratulations, good to him. We had Javier M2KG, someone who's known somewhat in the competitive Mortal Kombat space, got 4th place. We had Ghost Crow, someone I also haven't heard of, and Raza Ghul, someone I have heard of, get 5th place as well. And then we had Amateur Legacy and Young Chiquelo. Young Chiquelo, someone a name I haven't really seen a ton, but he was absolutely crushing it. He actually won all 3 Liga Latina qualifiers for Liga Latina Norte. In the first season, was the number 1 seed and the favorite to make Final Kombat. Ended up getting upset by Brosiv, who he beat round 1, and then Grand Finals Brosiv was able to get the reset and win the tournament last year. And so this year, Chuelo still was able to qualify for the finale, but out at 7th place. Shout out to Brosiv, he's going to be going to Final Kombat, I'm sure, with that sector. Absolutely insane player, and it's the same performance for that, and he is super good at Mortal Kombat. So we're going to go and get into the last region, the last qualifier for the Liga Latina Sur region, and the winner of that was Nicolas. I don't think that's very surprising. I think what's almost more surprising is the fact that Scorpion Prox got 5th place. Lost 2 Game 5 sets, lost to Groxer, and lost to Chocolate. And what's really interesting about the Liga Latina Sur region is that besides Scorpion Prox and Nicolas, this region may have been considered the weakest when it came to all the regions, and that's not saying, or maybe the second weakest behind Oceanic or maybe Middle East. And that's not to say that any of those regions are bad. Obviously, insanely high, but it's like the level of talent, because there are multiple countries, or just in case of like the North America, is it's just like the most dense region in terms of the amount of players and the amount of talent, that like this one was considered maybe one of the easiest to qualify for outside of Nicholas and Scorpion Procs. But nowadays, it might be the most stacked. Snake Dough is absolutely insane at this game. Chocolate, obviously insane. Groxer as well. These guys have a ton of really, really talented players. And that may be what I said about it being one of the easier regions to qualify for, may more to do with the fact that it's just undiscovered talent, because there's not a lot of big tournaments that happen there, and those players aren't really able to travel to where the big tournaments happen, kind of like Oceanic a little bit, where it's just really hard for them to go and get to Europe, or to get to Brazil, or to get to North America to compete in this game, because there's just so much time, so much energy, so much money to get to these events, and the ROI, like they would have to win just to break even. And that's even if they have the upfront money to go there, or they may just be too young. In the case of some of these Brazil players, like they're not even like old enough to travel outside of Brazil, just because of the country's restrictions and stuff like that. But I digress. Nicholas wins the region straight sets, loses a game to Chocolate, loses a game to Snake Dough in winners finals, and loses a game to Snake Dough in grands. But that is it. Snake Dough beats Shigemaru and Groxer. It's crazy that Snake Dough got second place, and he didn't even have to beat Scorpion Procs to do so, which is absolutely absurd to think about. Goes game 5 with Chocolate as to get second place. Chocolate gets third place. Shout out to Chocolate, dude. I think that dude's super good. I'm really excited. I think he said he's traveling to Combo Breaker, traveling to Evo as well, and maybe even going to Mexico to try to get the last chance qualifier. That'll be really, really cool to see. Groxer gets fourth place, that Reagan player, notorious for going game 5 with Sonic Fox at the Mexico Pro Comp. Certainly talented player. Fifth place, that was who got fourth place. Fifth place was Scorpion Procs and Jur. G-E-R, not the Jur from Canada. J-E-R is G-E-R. And then seventh place was Shigemaru and Angelcraft. So shout out to those guys. That is the regional qualifiers. So the 10 players that are qualified for regions are already there. We have half the people that are going to be competing in Final Combat. We already know. As well as if you go check over the points, some people are already so high on the point leaderboard, and the way it goes where only your two highest demigod and your two highest combatant events count. That or some people are basically already qualified through points. I don't even think basically, I think they are. I remember Faisal was talking about that, but when we go and talk about the points specifically, we can go more into who basically already qualified. But we already know at least 10 players that are going to be qualified for Final Combat through their region. They said Brazil region was Zeus. Mexico was Chuleta. Liga Latina Norte was Brosiv, and Liga Latina Sur was Nicholas. Shows out to all those players that are going to be competing at Final Combat. So now we're going to go and get into Combo Breaker. This event happened a few weekends ago, and Sonic Fox was able to take it, and this was a demigod event, so a lot of points were on the line. So Sonic Fox ended up rocketing up the points leaderboard. I think they're in first place now. We'll talk more about that once we get to the points. Rewind got second place. This was Rewind's first pro comp event outside of the online event, where he ended up getting third place, losing to Sonic Fox and Online Kale. So this is really big. Rewind's going to be going to a lot of events. He's going to CEO. He's going to be going to Evo. He's also going to Blink Respawn. So I would not be surprised at all. We see Rewind in Final Combat in some capacity. Got second place stuff. Very, very good stuff. Third place was Video Games Yo. Video Games Yo actually sent Sonic Fox 2 losers. Video Games Yo was on an absolute tear. He was playing Homelander, Ghostface. I think we saw the Sector at one point. Just absolutely nuts run by that man. He got a lot of points as well. Fourth place was Faisal. There's a few people that traveled from the Eastern Hemisphere. Yeah, Eastern Hemisphere. Faisal was one of them. As I said, like he may have had enough points to qualify for Final Combat just as is. I don't think he plans to go on any other events except for coming to Mexico for Final Combat. Fifth place was Bandinos. We don't see Bandinos come out to a ton of events. I don't think outside of DreamHack Atlanta, which he won, I don't think we saw him at an offline event at least in terms of majors, outside of Combo Breaker last year. I don't know if he's going to CEO. We're going to go talk over the entrances who went CEO. If I recall, I don't remember seeing him, but maybe I overlooked it. Also at 5th place was the Mighty Unjust. Absolutely insane. Mighty Unjust got 5th place at Final Kombat last year. He qualified through NA East. This year, he ended up getting 3rd place. He lost to Tweety and Ninja Killer. So Mighty Unjust is going to have to qualify through points or win Evo if he's going to get into Final Kombat, or one last chance qualifier. Those are your ways to get in. So we'll see. Dialogue gets 7th place. Definitely, after getting 2nd place at Texas Showdown, Dialogue was really kind of standing out as like the 2nd best player in North America behind Sonic Fox. So he lost to Pulse earlier in the bracket. And then he ended up losing to Bandinos. Not like he lost to like players, but Dialogue definitely someone who was looking for a big performance here, as it is one of the second to last demigod event available to compete at to get those points. So he was definitely looking for a better performance than that. Still, obviously, very insanely good top 8. And then Han Rashid rounds out the top 8, getting 7th place and getting a another top 8. He got 5th at Texas Showdown. And then he gets a 7th place here. He's going to be going to a lot of other pro compliments. I know he's going to be a CEO and Evo. So Tom Rashid, somebody you want to be on the lookout for to see who's going to qualify for Final Kombat through points. Let's go through the rest of this top 24 to see what some places some people got. So Online Kale, 9th place, definitely someone we thought you would think would be in the top 8. When I put a poll out on Twitter, like who's going to win Combo Breaker, it was like Sonic Fox, Dialogue, Online Kyle, and I was like the field. I was like, those were my 3 like favorites, and then there's obviously like Phase All, Video Games Yo, some of these other really, really good players, Rewind, but those were my 3 who I thought were like, it's probably going to be one of those 3, and Sonic Fox ended up winning, but the fact that Dialogue got 7th and Cal got 9th, definitely a little surprising. Just goes to show how deep and talented this the NA region is, and all the people that want to Combo Breaker. King Gambler also got 9th place. Pulse got 9th place. Pulse ended up losing to Rewind and then Han Rashid. And then Pure ends up getting 9th place as well. Pure ends up losing to Face All Game 5. He ended up having a 2-1 lead. They were running the T1000 mirror, Terminator mirror basically. And then Pure tries to break out the Peacemaker. Didn't work out for him. It's a really hard matchup for T1000, but Pure probably just not too warmed up on the Peacemaker, and Face All was able to win that. Pure ends up getting 9th place. Other people that got 13th place, we had Gur. So he was able to get some points, but I'm sure he's going to be going to Evo. So he could potentially earn more points that way. He did go to Brazil and got top 8, and then he went to Vietnam and got 9th. So actually, I don't think this actually counted toward any points for him. You did get points for getting 13th place, but I don't think he got any because of those 2 regions. Those 2 events he outplaced. Javier got 13 points. I think he's in the same boat. If I recall, actually, I think he outplaced, so I think he did get points for Combo Breaker. Because he got like 17th at the Brazil event, which I still think you get points for, but he wasn't able to, or he did outplace that, so I think he got a couple more points here. Killer Janok, 13th place, I think he got some points as well. Then we had Michael Seraphan, went on an absolute run, beat Bustman, beat Wits, to get 13th place. Shout out to him. And then at 17th place, I'm just going to go through this. We had Sparks, Mist, Yadriel, great run from him. Great run from Mist and Sparks as well. Al Kukoi, pretty run for him. No Green ended up beating Bandinos in winners. Bandinos went on a crazy run, 2 losers to get 5th place. Shout out to No Green. Blackery went on a bit of a run himself. Wits, 17th. Shout out to that dude Wits. He's been grinding and stuff. That was a great run from him. And then we had Big Daddy G that rounded up the top 17th placing. I'll look at some of this round 2 pool, see if anything really stands out. Any results that happened. So 25th place, we have people like Perfect Shinny, Zanzun, Epic Zupa, Bacon Lord. 33rd place, Desda, Luva, someone I actually haven't heard of before, so shout out to them. Renzuki, awesome run, made it up, pools, good stuff. Wraith, Hayuno, shout out to Hayuno. Go to Krillin Beat Challenge, shout out to Reptile Mains out there earlier. The peak of Reptile gameplay, making it 1 round out of pools and then losing immediately. Joystick and Fluff, shout out to them. Pure beat Javier, that's a really good win. Pulse over Dialogue. I don't know if there's anything too crazy that kind of happened there. I mean, Zupa beat Wraith, but Wraith absolutely hates that Quan Chi, just in general. I'm going to say the Quan Chi matchup. He just hates the character. Okay, let's go and check over the other side. So you got 25th and 33rd, respectively. We had, and I looked at the wrong place. Did I? Am I crazy? Yeah, let's go over the other pool. We had VGY over Unjust. That makes sense. 2 Trillion, 25th, great run. Lord Galvatron, who's supposed to be local to the Chicago area, gets 25th. Great run from him. Very, very impressive stuff. Bossman out at 25th. That's definitely a placement. He definitely someone who thought would get a bit higher after winning Frosty Faustings and getting top 8 at the Texas Showdown. Thought probably a bit of a better run from him was expected. Missed, obviously, a very insane player. Sparks over Beanside. I think that was a reverse 3-0. Sparks ended up busting out the sector in that matchup. Very, very good stuff from Sparks. So Beanside out of 25th place. We had Shampoo Master, Cal Komet, Burrito Voorhees, Woolander, Magneta Azura was a Ghostface player, Mappin, Genner, and Full Auto, all 33rd place. Everyone else who went to this tournament that I did not mention did not make it out of pools. To go through each individual pool, that would just be a lot. So I don't think I really need to necessarily go into it, but that's the results from Combo Breaker. If they made top 24, then they earned points for Final Combat. Really cool. So we're going to go and get into the Brazil region. So I guess what it means is Sonic Fox. I mean, Sonic Fox went to Brazil, got 9th. Sonic Fox is still probably the best player in the world. It's kind of hard to argue against that. So if they Rewind is here to stay. He's legit. The thing is, Rewind, people say, like, oh, Rewind, this result is really good. Like, he hasn't been really doing that good in Mortal Kombat 1, but, like, the first Pro Comp event, like, he got, ended up, some of the offline was, like, ECT, he got 4th. He lost to, I think, Sonic and Kombat, which is, like, okay, like, you can't really blame him for that. And then he goes to Combo Breaker and loses to VGY and Dialogue, which I guess, like, sue him. I don't know, like, and then he goes to CEO, loses the Dialogue place. Like, he's just, like, he was always very, very good, and this was just another step up to be like, okay, he is still the upper echelon, elite talent when he was still, like, just elite talent. Like, top 20 conversation to top 10 conversation. Easily after this event. VGY, obviously, elite level talent, getting 3rd place, huge. Face All, 4th here. I mean, got 4th at Final Combat last year. I mean, VGY top 8 at Final Combat last year. So those players didn't really prove anything. Bandino's Unjust. Bandino's still showing that he's still legit. Unjust, obviously, still a very good player. Dialogue, a little bit of a lower performance than we probably would have expected, but still very good. Han Rashid still making these top 8s very good. So I guess that's kind of what the takeaway from this event, as well as the other players I talked about previously. Okay, so now we're going to go into the Brussels Challenge event that happened. This was a combatant event, so not a ton of points on one, not a ton of entrances, but a lot of EU's best players were able to enter this. Kani Mani wins the event, not dropping a set, and this kind of just showed Kani Mani is the best player in EU. I don't think there's really a debate at this point, through winning all of Rips Arena's events, through winning EU East, which is the more stacked of the two regions. Both obviously very stacked, but EU East being more stacked wins that. Wins Biennality, wins Brussels Challenge, wins versus Fighting last year. Like, Kani Mani is the best player in EU, and it's not really a debate. He could be debatably the best player in the world, but we're going to see him at Final Combat, so I guess we'll find out then how good he really is, but I think he has to be in the top 4 minimum in the world conversation. I don't think there really is even a debate about him being top 4 in the world and being the best player in Europe. Javier gets 2nd, a very, very impressive one from him, able to beat VGY and Faisal as well as Katana Khan. I feel like Katana Khan versus Katana Khan, that would have been like a toss-up, but it seems like VGY and Faisal were just a little bit ahead of him in terms of consistency and stuff like that, but he was able to close that gap, get wins on VGY and Faisal, so very good stuff. Faisal ends up getting 3rd place. VGY gets 4th. Oxstar gets 5th, as well as Katana Khan getting 5th. Gur gets 7th, and Law Corridor, MK11 Legend, has come out to some of these Mortal Kombat 1 events, has obviously done very good. I think he was top 100 in both 2023 and 2024. So someone who obviously is very, very good. Beats Rother to make top 8, so that was definitely a statement win. He's obviously a very, very good player on that General Shao. But definitely, we probably would have expected, if we were to do predictions here, to see, which I did do, I would have had Rother in there, putting Katana Khan in the run back from Biennality. Law Corridor ends up getting the win. Super, super good stuff. And then 9th place, we have Roomba, Rother, Too Easy, and Fairsko. Fairsko ended up making top 8 at Biennality, gets 9th place here, so still got some points. Too Easy, very easy. I know he said he's pretty much done with Mortal Kombat at this point, at least until we get a new game. He's just focused on other games. Plays a ton of other fighting games, goes to a ton of events. Shout out to Too Easy, 9th place, still very good. Rother at 9th, and then I said Roomba at 9th. Well, Rother, someone probably would have expected to be in the top 8, especially how good they did at Biennality, getting 4th place. Very, very impressive stuff from Rother there, but getting 9th place, so getting some points, but not a ton. And that basically rounds up. I mean, there was about 42 entrances here. Very, very top-heavy event, but not the most in terms of entrances. So this was a really, really cool event. Shout out to EU having players come out. You said we have Kanimani, who's already qualified. Honest Bananas qualified through EU West. Wasn't at this event, but he'll be at Final Kombat, and then I'm sure maybe like Faisal probably will be at Final Kombat BGY. Javier is kind of on the fence right now. Some people who are winning their region who are up ahead of him in points, so he's able to jump up. So he is qualified now, but it depends on how points goes and stuff like that. And as I said, he's already been to enough events that he already has hit his 2 combatant events and 2 demigod events. So now his points aren't going to fluctuate as much as someone who hasn't already been to 4 events already, at least 2 demigod and 2 combatant events. It's a little confusing, but I'm sure we'll get it figured out. Okay, so right now, in terms of points, we currently have Sonic Fox in 1st place in points. 2nd place in points is Kanimani, who actually already qualified for Final Kombat, so we can kind of throw him out. He's already in there. You don't need to worry about him in terms of points. 3rd place is Faisal. Like I said, so technically Faisal would be the 2nd person qualifying through points, and based off of the events we have left and how many points other players have, Faisal is basically already in Final Kombat. Kind of similar with VGY. VGY may want to get a few more points to secure just to secure himself as getting in there. The 4th place he's at 635 is VGY, with Faisal being at 665. YTEX, like that just goes to show how many points you truly get from a demigod event. Shows up to one event, wins it, and is now currently in 4th place. 5th place technically, but 4th place if you get rid of Kanimani. In terms of points to qualify for Final Kombat, just off one 1st place getting at a demigod event. 6th place, technically 5th place, well, not even technically 5th place because it's Nicholas, but he won Liga Latina Sur, so now he's in Final Kombat, so we can throw his points out the window, so it goes to the next person. So 5th place, it would be Javier. 6th place would be Gur, but what's kind of scary about Javier and Gur's situation, as I said, is that they have already been to enough so where their points are only going to fluctuate if they outplace their previous demigod or combatant events. So their points aren't going to fluctuate as much as someone like Lavender Rain, who's currently in with 5th, 6th, 7th place in terms of points, because he's only been to... He went to Mexico, so he's only been to 1 combatant event and 1 demigod event. So I'm not sure how if he's going to be traveling a lot. I know he's from Brazil. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get to events like CEO versus fighting, like Respond or Evo. So him where he is currently is definitely not a comfortable position, being 7th in points, because only the top 8 ended up making Final Kombat, right? Is he 7th in points or is he 8th in points? No, he's 8th. Yeah, because Nicholas, yeah, so he's 8th in points. Which means he would be the... No, he's 7th in points. What am I talking about? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Lavender Rain's 7th in points, and then to 8th points. So technically, if it were to end today, if we were to run no more tournaments, Rewind would be getting in. See, that's only a 2nd place at a demigod event. Is enough points to get you in the final combat at this point. Obviously, that's going to change. We still have 3 more combatant events, 1 more demigod event, so a lot is still up in the air. But as of right now, if it were to end today, the people who have qualified through 4 points are Sonic Fox, Faisal, BGY, Ytex, Javier, Gur, Lavender Rain, and Rewind. So 8 people qualified through points. The 10 people who qualify for the regions we already know. Then if you win EVO, you're in. If you win LCQ, you're in. So that's basically it. And then, so one of those people that are in the top 8 of points, if they win EVO, that goes to the next person in line. So someone like Snakeda, who just on the outside looking in, Roll Third on the outside looking in, Katana Khan, Scorpion Prox, Dialogue, a Foxy Grandpa, Matsuine, the Mighty Unjust, Bandina, they're all kind of having a similar amount of points. Are all people, Han Rashid, Gambler right there, Pulse, Kefarisco, Keller Jinok, Oxstar, Law Corridor, Roxer, and then that's kind of like, I feel like outside of that, I mean, unless someone kind of just shows up to the first event, someone like Ninja Killer, who we'll talk about in a second, is going to CEO. He hasn't even been to a Pro Comp event, so someone like Ninja Killer could really shake it up. He shows up to CEO, wins that, shows up to EVO. What if he wins EVO? He's in. You know what I mean? Shows up to LCQ, he's in. So we don't really know. It's still really up in the air. But I said right now, that's kind of the points leaderboard in terms of how many people have points and stuff like that. You know, I said the combatant event that's coming up at CEO is going to shake some stuff up a little bit, but you don't get a ton of points for making for winning a combatant event or just simply top 8ing or whatever. You get a few amount of points, but you get some, but nothing too crazy. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about before we end this video is we're going to be talking about CEO that's going to be coming up this weekend, the 13th through the 15th. I'm not exactly sure when Mortal Kombat's happening, but I'm going to do a predictions video for that. So if you want the details for that, you will get that in that video. So I'm just going to kind of go over players' names that look a lot, look big, and see that are bigger names, and see, if they're kind of close to qualifying for Final Combat. I mean, I talk about that. We have Samij, someone we haven't really seen compete in Mortal Kombat 1, but upper option talent is also going to be competing in City of Wolves, Street Fighter 6. So who knows what games he wants to play in more, but he was supposed to go to Combo Breaker, but unfortunately wasn't able to make it. Smeech, someone you can count out, was in a Final Combat for Mortal Kombat 11, and was in the IPS Injustice Pro Series finale for Injustice 2. Same thing, good player. Beyond Toxin, big name. Stu, someone from Tri-State. Gur is going to be there. Gur's been in all the events, so this is a place where Gur can potentially try to gain some more points. Rewind, this is an event where Rewind can really try to climb the rankings to secure a bigger spot. Burrito Voorhees, someone who kind of consistently does really well at these events. Brosiv already qualified for Liga Latina Norte, but Bowen, you always want to try to show up to tournaments and do well. Who else do we got? Going through, looking at some of these names, trying to see names that really stick out to me. Hercules is going to be there. Someone who has been to a few events already, and we'll see if he can make a run and try to get on the leaderboard. Darth Arma, someone who legend in the community. I actually did a podcast with him that's going to be coming out in a little bit. Shout out to that man. He is super dope, and he's really good at Mortal Kombat still. Like, he had a tournament we talked about where not that long ago he beat El Kakoi 3-0. So like he definitely can make a run. Someone you want to keep an eye out for as well in the bracket. Someone who could definitely spice up the bracket with some big upsets. We have Big Daddy G, insanely good smoke player, someone who could definitely make a run, who got 17th at Combo Breaker, definitely someone who could shake out the bracket, potentially get into the Pro-Com conversation. Parsa HP, very, very good. I think he's on Noob now. Unjust is going to be there, someone who could shake up the points leaderboard and, get in there and potentially qualify for Final Combat again, see if he can make another crazy run. The dude is insane at Mortal Kombat as well. Benny, Takeda player. Hayuno, I said just got 33rd at Combo Breaker. We have Zork is going to be there. Really, really cool. Shout out to Zork. We got Nate Hanzo, Reptile player. He's going to be there. Brown Boy, Garrus, Cyrax player. Big Zo, Katana player. K-Mac, someone who is like super, super good, who like will just disappear and then he'll come back and still be super, super good. So like you never really know what you're going to get out of K-Mac. But someone you definitely should look out for. A very, very good new player. Was on Quan for a little bit. Like, beat like Killer Shinnok Evo last year. Like, you just never know with K-Mac. Online KO, someone who's staying with the bracket, definitely a favorite to make top 8 and potentially even win the event. Definitely could do that. Let's see what else we got. We have Saipol, Baraka player. Kratos plays a bunch of different characters, but we see a lot of Peacemaker recently. We have Vanity is going to be there. Super good. Size Off, Bean Sal, Ninja Killer, probably the favorite to win, but who really knows? For over here, he's been putting in a ton of work on alternate accounts. Also going to be entering Tekken 8, so it will be really, really cool to see him compete. If he's going to compete in Mortal Kombat 1, he did sign up. We'll see, though. And, you know, potentially someone who can definitely win this. I say Bean Sal already, but Bean Sal's going to be there with the Sindel. Very, very good player. We have Zintai, very, very good. I think he's on Sector these days. Plays a bunch of different fighting games as well. Very, very good player. Gambler, someone who could really shake up the points and get a bunch more points that can help him qualify for Final Combat. Monty, that's the guy I see in Combat like a decent amount. Sub-Zero, Sector player. Obnoxity, won like Game 5 with Pure, Game 4. Did have a really good set with Pure. Scorpion, Farah player. Yadriel. Just had 17th at Combo Breaker, someone who top 8'd the CEO 2021 and 2022. I think he top 8'd both. Very, very good player. We got Diddle, Kenshi player, or not Kenshi player, Diddle is on the Homelander Fair now. Somebody who never really kind of streams a ton of Mortal Kombat, always does super, super well. Snake Doe is going to be there. That is super cool. Snake Doe kind of rising as being, I mean, yeah, third or fourth at the Brazilian Pro Comp. I'm sorry, I don't know that off the top of my head. Got second in the Liga Latina Sur region. I'm outplacing someone like Scorpion Prox. Insanely good player. It seems to only be getting better and better. Havoc player. Definitely someone who could make a run. Probably a favorite to make top 8 here at CEO. Go through, we got Wits, just at 17th at Combo Breaker, top 8 at DreamHack Atlanta, very, very good player. Han Rashid has been top 8 basically everything. Texas Pro Comp, Combo Breaker. Hully will be there. Busman, definitely looking for a bounce back tournament. Just got, he said he won Frosties, he got top 8 at Texas Showdown, and then got 25th at Combo Breaker. Said looking for a bounce back tournament, someone who eventually definitely see in top 8. Filato, someone won CEO 2022, hasn't really been too into Mortal Kombat 1, has been entering more tournaments though. He was at Combo Breaker, definitely someone who could definitely make a run. We got Rio, very, very good player, plays a bunch of different characters. Kenshi, Johnny, we'll see who he's on now. Veteran in the game scene, though, definitely someone who can make a run. Shikoku Butter, who was literally in top 8 of CEO last year. Asher player, very, very good. Definitely someone we can see. Zanzun, been going to all these events and stuff like that, so it's definitely someone to see. He's been on Peacemaker, but talked about plenty of different characters, so we'll see who is running there. Plus, someone who we saw make top 8 of Frosty Faustings. Was on Kenshi, but kind of hopped off him. One of the people that hopped off him after the nerfs. I think he's been playing a noob. We'll see who he's playing here. Reckless, Sin Reckless, someone who has played a decent amount of characters, known for Scorpion, but we see Johnny, stuff like that. We have Ricky Yo, General Shao player, very, very good. El Kokoi, I think we know who El Kokoi is, from Tri-State, third at LCQ. I think he got 17th at Combo Breaker. Kind of had a bit of a difficult path, but definitely someone who can make a run. Definitely someone who can definitely make top 8 here. We got Sick Hander. We'll see how he ends up doing. Went to Vianality, did super good, got 9th place. Goes to the Brazil Pro Comp, lost to a Scorpion Farah player, and then lost a guy for a Qt in the Sub-Zero mirror. So he didn't have a crazy good run in Brazil, but we'll see how he's able to do here. Definitely someone who could surprise people, plays a ton of Mortal Kombat. very, very good with Sub-Zero. We'll see what happens there. We got Sparks, someone who got 17th, just that combo breaker, with Tanya and Sector. I think that's who he's probably going to be running with. Very, very good player. Super, super knowledgeable. Knows a ton about, you know, this niche tech, frame data, all that stuff. Sparks is going to be on top of it. We got Joestar, who is an absurdly good Reiko player. Did pretty good, beat Striker at Texas Showdown. So he's got a win under his belt. This isn't his first major, but we'll see him. We'll see what he can do. And then who else? We got Dialogue. I mean, Dialogue potentially maybe the favorite. If the favorite to win this tournament isn't Ninja Killer, it's either Rewind or Dialogue. I think Dialogue is probably someone you can safely put in your top 3 and potentially could be your favorite to win the tournament. Blackery, someone who's super good with Sindel Tremor and Sindel Lao. Those hard to blockables are just nuts. He's high execution. Does really, really good in online events. Oni player. Oni has so many really, really high quality talented players. We have Rebel, who made top 8 of NA East online. We haven't seen a ton of him offline, but I saw he was streaming a bunch to raise money to make it CEO. Ended up raising the money, so he's going to be there. That Cyrax Tremor is a problem to deal with, and will be really, really cool to see what he's able to do. We have Killer Jinok from Brazil, one of the best players from Brazil. Ended up making Final Kombat last year through points, so definitely not someone who come out. Has had a few not obviously still very good, but not Killer Shinnok-esque like runs recently, but definitely someone that you can expect to do really, really well. Here, someone who potentially can make top 8, and then we got Next Gen Assassin, someone who's from, I think, the Georgia area, Georgia region, so not too far away, a little bit of home field advantage. A Takeda player, definitely someone who could make a run, someone who we see potentially make it out of pools and maybe get an upset here and there. But that's going to do it, guys. That's it for CEO. I kind of talked about everything that's going on in the pro comp. That is your pro competition update. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it when I just kind of talk into the mic, kind of read things here? Or do you guys want more graphics and stuff, visuals, stuff like that? Do you want me to pull that stuff up? I kind of like this style where I kind of just talk, you guys can just listen, so it can be kind of like a podcast, so you can do it while you're working out, or you can listen to it while you're driving in a car or something like that. But if you want more like graphics pulled up, if you don't really want to just see my face, let me know what you guys think. But I appreciate you guys. Please drop a subscription if you're new to the channel, leave a like and comment if you're returning, and I'll see you guys at the next video.